Howdy friends and family, thank you so much for joining me. This is day 31 in the series I'm doing called In the Midst, and we are in part 5 looking at faith and faithfulness. Last time we talked about how God is faithful to us, and today we're going to be looking a little bit more at our faith. And we talked a couple weeks ago about how we need to endure all things. Love endures all things. And we talked about how in order to endure all things, we need to cling to our faith. So we're going to look a little bit more at that today, specifically clinging to our faith. So Ephesians 6, verses 10 through 13 says, "Finally, be strengthened by the Lord and by his vast strength. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the schemes of the devil. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this darkness, against evil, spiritual forces in the heavens. For this reason, take up the full armor of God so that you may be able to resist in the evil day, and having prepared everything, to take your stand." So this passage, a lot of us have probably heard it before, talking about taking up the armor of God. And God gives us this armor as a protection against the devil, against temptation, against anything that we may come against in this world. Any of the powers of darkness that it lists here. But if you think about a soldier does not put on his armor when the battle is about to start, or even in the middle of the battle. He puts it on and he trains, often daily, preparing for the battle that may or may not come. And this is true even of a soldier who their country is not on the brink of war. They're going to train and prepare. And we, in the same way, cannot take up our armor in the moment. We have to take up our armor daily, preparing for the battles that might come. You can also think of it like one of those floats that a boat might pull behind it, and kids and adults like to sit on them and ride them and get pulled around really fast, and sometimes you go flying off. But if you think about it, when you're sitting on that float, just sitting in the calm waters, it's really easy to hold on. But as soon as the boat starts moving, you have to hold on really tight. And if you're not holding on, you're going to go flying off right away. In the same way, when life is easy, when we are sitting in calm waters, we need to practice holding on to our faith when it may seem easier to do. So that one day when the boat takes off and life throws us for a loop, we can still hold on and cling to our faith, and we don't let go. And so we have to cling to our faith on a daily basis. We have to live a life of faith. Faith is not meant for special occasions. Faith is meant for everyday life. And your faith life, the faith you have in your everyday life, how you walk through that and how you strengthen that might look a little different than everyone else. There is no recipe for success necessarily. No specific go to church 3 times a week and read your Bible every day. There's no list that you have to follow. But Jesus' life does give us a good example. And he does 3 things that I want to point out. And again, this is not necessarily a checklist where you check it off, good times, I'm done. It's a guide. Here are some good ways. These are important things to include in your faith life. And the first is that he spent time with God. Many times it mentions that he would go away to be alone with God, to pray, to talk to God, letting God refill him. The second thing he did is he had community. He spent time with others, learning and growing in faith and teaching them. He wasn't alone. But then he also lived a life of faith in his actions. He was obedient to God, and he lived every day in a way so that others could see his faith. This is not, like I said, an exhaustive list. It's not just do these 3 things and your faith life is going to be perfect or your life will be perfect. These are just some ways that we can practice growing and learning and getting closer to God, because that is what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be getting closer to God so that when the day comes, when the evil day comes, we are prepared and we can stand. So no matter what you are in the midst of, have a faith life. Cling to your faith on a daily basis so that you can be prepared, because you can't be prepared and resist the evil day if you have not practiced and put on your armor beforehand. You need to put that armor on now when you're walking in the good times, so that when you walk through the bad, you'll be prepared. Cling to your faith. If you're looking for a verse to memorize, John 15:12-13 is what we're going to work on this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.